So you're thinking about selling your home and you're curious about the steps involved in selling your home and you're looking for a detailed explanation
to stress-free selling. That's what this video is going to be all about. It's not a clickbait title. That's literally what it's about. The more information you know, the easier the process is going to be when it comes time to sell your home. My name's Josh Barnett. I've been in the business 18 years, been selling property here in the great state of Oklahoma. So that's where this knowledge comes from. If you find value in it, please give it a big thumbs up. Share it with anyone else who might be selling the property with you. That way you're both on the same page and you have the same knowledge base. But I promise you, watching this video, learning the information in this video will lower your stress, because with more information that you have, the easier the decision is to make. All right, guys, let's get started.
Step number one, give my team and I a call. We got to go over seven simple questions to get to know your property and your situation in detail, because we need to set the market price on your home and give you an itemized estimated net to seller sheet. So to do that, we need to go over in detail these 7 questions on your home to be able to look at the market, compare your home to comparable homes. See what I did there? And then do the itemized line by line estimated net sheet so that you know as a seller exactly what you're walking away with at that closing table based on a best case or better than best case scenario. So question number 1, you can write these down. If you grab a pen and paper, you can write these down and you can answer them yourself, so that when you're ready to call my team and I to get started, you'll already have those answers. So question number 1 that we need to go over, it's real simple. Tell my team and I a little bit about your property. Tell us a little bit about your property. Give us that elevator pitch about your property. Tell us what you love, what you don't love. Tell us about it. Tell us about your property so that we can take notes and become familiar with your property over the phone. Does that make sense? All right. Question number 2, what has you selling your home? What has you selling your home? That's super, super important. Like, are we up against a deadline? Are we getting ready to do a job transfer and we need to be at that new location, or you need to be at the location? The family doesn't necessarily have to be at the location, or you have to be at the location and your spouse has to be at the location. What has you selling the home? Is it just because you're downsizing? You're tired of paying crazy real estate taxes on a great big house that you don't use anymore? What is that why on why you're selling your home? That's question number 2. All right. Question number 3. Tell me about any features your home has that other homes in the area may not have. Like if you live in a neighborhood and you've got a beautiful pool or a beautiful hot tub, like built-in pool, built-in hot tub. Or if you live out in the country and you've got a live creek, a wet creek, a creek literally running through your property all the time, or a spring-fed pond, or a giant 60 by 40 hay barn. Like, what type of features that add more value to your home over other comparable homes in your neighborhood, in your school district, in your county, depending if we're talking rural, if we're talking city? What does your home have that people need to have that brought to attention to? Did you pay the extra $1,000 to get a class 4 roof on your home? Is that something that your home has, a class 4 roof? What are those features that your home has that set it apart from others? Do you have a true mother-in-law suite, a 4th bedroom with its own bath, full blown away from the rest of the house, a true mother-in-law suite? Do you have that? What are those features that your home has that we may not have just discussed on question number 1 about you telling us about the home that really set your house apart? Question number 4. Some of these questions interlace with each other. Some of these questions we may have already talked about. So of course, we've already discussed them, we're not going to ask you them again. But these are the 7 questions that we definitely need to go over in step 1 of selling your home. Question number 4. What upgrades have you done to your home in the last 3 years? Have you put on that new class 4 roof? Did you do a complete kitchen remodel, new cabinets, new countertops, new appliances, new flooring, new lighting? Did you add a bathroom? Did you add a whole bathroom to your house? Is your house now a 3-bath, or is your house now a 2-bath with a half bath? What major upgrades, what major improvements over the last 3 years have you done? Did you add a shop that's not on the county assessor that we've not already discussed? You know, in the last 3 years, what major improvements have you done to the house? And the reason we ask in the last 3 years is because that's what really appraisers look for. If it's done, you know, 4 years in the past, an appraiser, they're not going to give it as much potential value as if you've done it in the last 4 years. In my experience, I'm only speaking from my experience. I'm not a licensed appraiser. I'm a licensed real estate agent, not a licensed appraiser, but I'm speaking from my experience. What gives you value? And that's why these questions are the questions that my team and I ask, so we can help set you up on the right footing when it comes time to sell by giving you a correct market value range on your property. Question number 5, what is your timeline for selling? What is your timeline for selling? Yeah, it kind of falls in line with your why for selling, but we absolutely need to know specifically your timeline for selling. Like it goes back to question number 2. Question number 2, why are you selling? You know, do you need to sell before the new school year starts? That way you can buy the new home in the new school district. You know, are you selling because you got to start a new job by X date? You know, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have military orders and you're getting ready to get transferred to Guantanamo Bay? You know, and we need to be sold before your transfer date. You know, do you have a drop dead timeline for selling? Because we got to run those numbers backwards, guys. If you need to be sold and closed and moving in 90 days, that means we need to go fast. We need to move fast. But if you have a 120-day timeline, you know, that's only an extra 30 days, but that doesn't mean we have to go as fast. We don't have to go as fast. If you got 60 days, we better be scheduling this photo shoot ASAP. This weekend, you're cleaning and decluttering twice. We'll talk about that later on. But what is that timeline? What is that timeline for selling? Question number 6 sort of leads into what we just talked about. These all line up. These all interlace. Question number 6, is your home show ready? Is your home show ready? Do you have it decluttered and clean? Is it show ready? You guys know what I mean by show ready. Like, people come over, fall in love with it, and be like, oh, your home's tugging on the heartstrings. Your home's like, oh, this is it. This is the one. This is the one. I want this home. I want this home. You know, is it show ready? Could you invite anyone over and they're like, wow, this place is clean. This place is clean. And if you haven't decluttered and cleaned twice, it may not be show ready. It may not be show ready. You may need a weekend to declutter and box everything up that you haven't touched in 30 days and put it in the garage. But is it show ready? That's question number 6. That's question number 6. And then finally, question number 7. We need to know question number 7 so that we can send you the valuation report that we come up with. That includes the comparables, a map of the comparables, the complete write-up of the comparables with the, what is it called? All the photos. You know, your estimated net to seller, your itemized line by line net to seller, so you know your exact cost on that home, your estimated net to seller, and then what else is in that packet? And the tax records. So you've got the one-line CMA, you got your estimated net to seller, your one-line CMA, you've got your detailed property sheets on your comparables, and then you've got your tax records on your home. So we need to know your email address. That's question number 7. What's your email address to be able to send that detailed packet to you so that you have all the information in front of you. And then from that phone call, from us putting that packet together, that's going to set us up for step number 2.
Step number 2 when selling your home. We've taken down the 7 questions. We've gone over all the information that we could gather from you about your home. Now it's time for my team and I to actually research the market. We're going to be looking at comparable homes in your neighborhood, comparable homes in your school district, or comparable homes in your county, depending on how rural you live. If you live in a populated city area, then we're just looking at homes in the neighborhood. But if you live in a city of like 7,500 people, then we're probably looking at homes like yours throughout the whole school district. And as I'm talking, words are popping up over on this board with the power of video editing, because if I write on the board with the Sharpie, you can't see it because of the glare. So I'll know that next time. I want to get one of them big old pads to write stuff on. And if you live in an area that's even more rural, where let's say your town only has 500 people and the towns surrounding you in the same county only have 500 to 1,000 people, then we're going to be looking at counties and comparable homes in that county to come up with homes that look like yours, have the plus or minus 300 square feet when it comes to livable square footage, have half the acreage or double the acreage amount when it comes to acreage and your property. We want to have similar homes. And if your home has a 40 by 50 shop or a 40 by 60 shop, I don't know why I said 40 by 50, but a 40 by 60 shop, then we want to look for homes that have 40 by 60 shops, or if we find similar homes, livable square footage, livable acreage, but they do not have, oh, I got an alarm going off. I'm supposed to read the Hardy Boys to my kids right now, but they don't have the shop, we can add the value of the shop to that home to get a comparable price per square footage. So we're doing a lot of plus and minuses, looking for a lot of comparables to your property. And if it's land, similar land with similar land features like ponds, like creeks, like barn sheds, fenced and cross fenced, that's very important too. But we're looking for similar properties just like yours to come up with a market value range on your property. There's not going to be no set price, but we're going to come up with a market value range on your property to provide you that fully itemized estimated net to seller. You want a fully itemized estimated net to seller so that you know on the low, on the median, and on the high what value you're getting out of your home so that you know what your walkaway money is, because you need to know what money you're going to take to that next house when we help you buy that house or refer you to one of our fellow agents in another state to buy the house in the other state that you're moving to. You want to know what that amount is, so you got money for the move, money for the down payment, money for furnishings, and money to just relax for a little bit if you don't want to work 60 hours a week and you just want to work the normal 40 hours a week. You need to know what that money is when you leave, and doing that comparable market valuation, giving you the low, the median, and the high. You're going to know what the low estimated net to seller is, median net to seller is, and the high net to seller is based off what you told us over the phone and looking at comparables on the market. And once we have this report put together, the comparable valuation report put together with the estimated net to seller, we email that over to you with a short explanation video, similar to a video like this, except we're doing a screen share. That way you have that information in front of you, and we call you at the time that we agreed to call back on step one to go over in detail. Depending on what you feel the market is saying on your home and what our numbers are saying on the market value of your home, the market value range of your home, we'll be able to set the list price. And once we set the list price, depending on where you come in compared to the market, will depend on if we do automated scheduled price reductions to get the home back down to market, or if we know that we're both looking at the same page, we're both looking at the same game plan, and we're setting you up for success when selling your home. Because the more you're pricing your home towards market value, the more likely the buyer is going to find the highest value in your home and purchase your home when they're looking at homes out there on the market. So once we go over the price and set the price, then we're going to go over discussing on that same phone call, we're going to discuss decluttering and cleaning the home and scheduling the photo shoot. Scheduling the photo shoot is very, very important because it helps you as a seller know there's a deadline to declutter and clean twice, not just once, but twice, your home to set you up for success. The more success that you're setting yourself up to sell the home or sell the land, the less stress that you're gonna have. Because when you're selling a large asset like a home or a piece of land, there's a lot of stress involved because of the, what is it called, outside factors that affect the sale. Buyers being in the market, timeline of it, interest rates, you know, if the city's changing zoning, et cetera, when you're dealing with land, compared to school seasons, the start of school sports, the start of holidays, the start of vacations, et cetera. There's outside factors that always affect the sale of a home, but setting the price right, decluttering and cleaning twice is going to set you up for success. And that's why we want to book that photo shoot and video tours so that you have a timeline to get the decluttering and cleaning done twice. Now, when we're talking about decluttering and cleaning, it's real simple, guys. It's real simple. You ask yourself these questions when you're deciding to declutter and clean. When you pick something up from the kitchen, if it's a pot, a dishware set, a cup, or anything like that, if you haven't touched it in 30 days, if you haven't touched it, then it's time to box that up and declutter it. You could put it in storage, you could donate it, give it to Goodwill, whatever you want to do. But if you haven't touched that pot or that dish set in 30 days, box it up. The less clutter, the less full your cabinets are, the less full your countertops are when it comes to the kitchen, the cleaner, the more neat, the more room it looks that is available to your home to a buyer when they're going to buy your home. Same thing for the coat closet. Same thing for the kids' closet, your closet. If you got a roommate, the roommate's closet. If it's out of season, box it up. Store it in the middle of the garage, not along the edges of the garage, but the middle of the garage, or rent a storage unit and stick it in the storage unit. Do that for your closets. Do that for your guest closets. Do that for your linen closets. If you haven't used it in 30 days, box it up and get it out of there and get it in storage. You don't want to take up valuable closet space, valuable linen closet space, valuable kitchen cabinet space, kitchen counter space. You don't want to take up valuable space with clutter, because clutter makes the home seem smaller. To be able to really show off the livable square footage that you have, declutter everything, get it out of there. When it comes to land, get a brush hog guy, go rent a tractor, go rent a brush hog, have fun. Spend 10 hours brush hogging your field if you want, or call the local hay guy. Any co-op feed store is going to know who the local hay guy is and say, hey, I'm getting ready to sell my property. Could you come cut it and bale it and you get all the bales? But could you just come do that? Because guys, I'm telling you, for photo shoots, when it comes to photo shoots on property, if there's hay bales in the field for a photo shoot, it looks so awesome. That is when we want to schedule the drone photography, is when those hay bales are in the field, because that really says Oklahoma. That really says field. That really says you're buying land when that's going on. And those guys who cut and bale the fields, they'll usually take the pay of the bales for their pay. You don't have to pay them. They're literally coming and cleaning up your field for you for free when you're selling land. So something to think about. So does that make sense on decluttering houses, and does that make sense on getting fields ready for selling, for listing? Okay guys, that's step number 2. I hope you found value in it. Be sure to comment down below with any questions that you have on step number 2. If you have value to add to the conversation, put that down in the comments too if I skip something for your step number 2. But as always, remember, I'm not perfect, and these videos aren't long enough to put everything in my brain on the video. But this gives you a good idea of what step number 2 is. Market value, setting the list price, decluttering, cleaning, and scheduling the photo shoot. That's step number 2. Let's talk about step number 3. Step number 3, you as a seller, you're going to be ready for myself, the photographer, any of my co-listing agents to come over and shoot the photos of the house, because you've got it all decluttered. You're ready for us to show up and shoot all the photos on the house. And you're going to be ready for us to do the videos on the house, the lifestyle videos. These are so important. These provide all the content that we're going to need to start marketing your house to the masses internationally, okay? Not just in the local MLS, but internationally. Anyone who's looking for a property like yours, doing Google searches, doing YouTube searches for properties like yours, they're going to find it because of these amazing video tours that we make on your property. And that takes roughly between 2 and 3 hours to shoot those video tours. But trust me, they're absolutely, absolutely worth it. And then when we get done with all that, we'll call you, let you know, hey, we wrapped it up. If you've got dogs, you want to put the dogs in pens in the garage. Dog carriers or pens? I don't know. They're both the same thing to me. But you want to pin your dogs up in the garage, because we'll need the house for about 2 to 2.5 hours to do the videos on it, to do the photo shoot on it. And then we're going to call, let you know, hey, we're done. You can come home, you can come let the puppies out. If you got cats, please take them with you. take the cats with you. That way, because cats are ornery. They might try to run out the back door while we're shooting the video, and we don't want the cat to run out the back door, because then we might accidentally let the wrong cat in when we go to try to get the cat, because your cat may be hiding in a tree and the neighbor's cat might be there, and then we'd have a crazy cat in your house that's not supposed to be there, and that wouldn't be good for anybody. So we'll call you, let you know we're back. If you got a cat, please take the cat with you. Dogs, you can put them up in the garage, not a problem, while we do the photo shoot and everything. And we want to discuss also the best showing times. The best showing times. If you work from home and we can't show the house while you're working because you've got a job where you just can't show the house on a whim, let us know. Let us know. We can schedule showings in the afternoons. We can schedule showings, you know, after 5:30 when you get off work. That way you have time to decompress a little bit, do some quick brush ups on the house, and then showings can start happening. Or if you're like, no, Josh, I can't even show during the week. Okay, let us know. That way we can let the agents know who are interested in showing your house to buyers, and we'll just put it on the MLS. We'll be upfront with the buyers. The more upfront we are with the buyers, the better for the whole process, because the buyer's the one who's bringing that check to closing to give you that money at closing, so that you as a seller can sell your house happily, capture your equity out of the house, and move it to that next property. So if you can only show Friday nights and the weekends, let us know. Let us know. We'll put that on the showing time. That's what we'll do. And then also, after we do the photo shoot, do the lifestyle videos, discuss with you the best showing times, we're also going to be setting that go live date. As setting that go live date is so important, because that's the date that we're going to have all the content ready, all the MLS information ready to go live. And that is when the world internationally is going to know that your property is available for sale. That's when we start pushing all of our ads. That's when we start pushing all of our social media content, all of our reels, all of our shorts. We start pushing everything out. And get this too, every single member of our local MLS, they get to push it to their sites too. I literally call every single agent that has a potential buyer for your home, and I say, hey, this home's for sale. You have a buyer, reference number, ID, who might be interested in it. Would you mind reaching out to them and letting them know that this property is available? You can even blame it on me. You can even blame it on me. That way we get more exposure for your home, bringing more attention to your home, AKA more potential offers to your home, AKA more potential value in their offer, higher offer, AKA on your home. So that is step 3 in a nutshell. We're gonna schedule the photo shoot, we're gonna do the photo shoot, we're gonna do the video tours, we're gonna build all the content, build all the ads, build everything ready for your home, discuss showings and the showing process, set the times up that are best for you to show your house, and we're gonna schedule that go live date. We're gonna schedule that go live date, guys. And then your property will start getting all that traffic, all those showings that we're gonna talk about in step number 4. Questions, comments on this part of the video, put them down in the description below. Hey, if you've ever, by the way, if you've ever thought about a career in real estate, thought about, hey, I'd love to sell houses with Josh and his team, reach out to us also. Contact information down below. I'd love to chat with you about how eXp Realty is obsessed with agent success, how eXp Realty gives agents healthcare options, gives agents retirement options, gives agents the best technology, best tools, best training, best systems available to take your real estate business to that next level. And if you're already a seasoned real estate agent or broker owner, and you're like, man, it would be fun to work with Josh, reach out to me. Let's discuss working together so I can show you how eXp Realty took off all of the overhead, all of the headaches that I had as my own broker owner, and put it into corporate so I could just go sell houses, I could just grow my team, and I could just enjoy selling real estate and coaching up new agents and making them better. All right, let's talk about step number 4 in selling your home.
We go live and we start doing the showings. Go live and start doing the showings. Now, the thing about that is we want to go live on a Thursday morning. That way it's super fresh on the market. And if we can't go live on Thursday morning, we just go live when we can. But in all actuality, the best day to go live is a Thursday morning. So to accomplish that, to accomplish being able to go live Thursday morning, then we need to have already done the videos and the photo shoot, preferably Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. If we did the photo shoot and the videos Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, then we should be set up pretty darn good to go live on Thursday morning, because we'll have the photos back. We'll have edited at least the first video in the video series on the lifestyle videos for your home, mainly the home tour, the neighborhood tour, and then the city tour, the short little city tour. So we got it all set up right just for your home. And that's typically the first video. If we don't have time to edit all three of those videos together into one, because those are 3 videos that we put into one video, really cool. You can see that on the channel. Lots of examples of that on the channel. Then we'll pull the 360 tour of the video live. At least we'll pull that one live for going live on Thursday. So we got different options video-wise on making sure we hit that deadline. For photo-wise, as long as we could get the photographer over there Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, we'll definitely have the pictures back to go live on Thursday. But that's when we're thinking about going live. Thursday mornings are typically the best. Thursdays at least before, I'm going to say, 6 p.m. If we could go live at least before 6 p.m. on Thursday, we're good to go. If we don't hit that timeline, we'll just go live when we can. But that is the target timeline for going live when bringing your home for sale. It just works out better for buyers who are looking to buy. That gives them plenty of time to set up their showings for the weekend, because you want the buyers to set their showings up for the weekend when they see the house. So giving them that Thursday and that Friday to get that coordinated with their agents is usually the best timing for that. And then showings. They're so important, and we discussed showings in the last step, but I cannot reiterate enough. If you have a sleeping baby that sleeps between 1 and 3 o'clock every day, we can block that off. We can block that off. There is no reason for you to get stressed out or not let the kiddos take a nap between 1 and 3 o'clock during the day, because you want the home to be ready to go. You want the showings to be scheduled around the best time for you. The only way for you to do that is for you to tell my team and I when the best times for showings are for you. You got to tell us those times, and we can make the whole point of doing this 8-step process. The whole point of bringing all this together is to make it as stress-free as possible for you. And you knowing the steps, you knowing the process, and knowing what you can and what you can and probably might not be able to ask for during the process makes everything easier for you, the seller. So when it comes to showings, it's so important that you tell my team and I when we can't show. Like, if you've got puppies at home that you don't crate all day, well, then we should only do showings in the afternoons and evenings when you're home. The late afternoons and the evenings should be when we should do the showings, because if you got a puppy who roams the house all day, you need to come home and pick up and crate that puppy in the garage or take that puppy with you before the showing. So we just block that off. We set the buyer's expectations up front. We block that time off so that we're not worried about what are we going to do with Cujo while we're at work? What are we going to do with Vader while we're at work? What are we going to do with the 3 cats that we got living there and their cat pee box? What is that called? Litter box. They give such a stinky box such a funny name, don't they? I got outside cats, so I can knock on cats because I got outside cats. But yeah, if you got to get that litter box out before showing. If you can't take a break from lunch, come home, or take a break at any moment, come home and get that litter box out of there, then guys, let's set up showings in the afternoon. That way you have time to come home, put the cats in the cat carrier, get the litter box out of the house, air out the house so your home has its best foot forward for the showings. You want your home to have the best foot forward for the show. If you celebrate the 7th-day Sabbath like I do, we block off Friday nights and Saturdays for your home. There's no reason to show your home while you're Sabbathing. There's none. No reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever. Does that explain step number 4 a little more in detail from you? Did you learn a little bit from the step number 4 portion of this video? Thumbs up. Thumbs up if you did. Comment down in the comments with any descriptions that you have. Put any comments, any questions down, descriptions that you have. Step number 4, we want to set you up for success, and that's why we try to bring the listing live on Thursday. Those are the items we need to bring the listing live on Thursday. And then of course the showings are super uber important for your stress-free sell, and then also just to prep the home for its best foot forward when it comes time for the buyer to buy the house. I'm going to quit rambling. Let's go on to talk about step number 5.
Now that we've gone live, now that we've started showing, we're going to start getting offers. And we're going to take those offers in, my team and I, we're going to summarize them and email them over to you. If we're already on another appointment, then we're going to forward that offer to you right away via email. And we're simply going to say, hey, we just got this offer in on your house. Congratulations. We haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but as soon as we wrap up this appointment, we're going to summarize it, send you over that summary, and give you a call and discuss this offer in detail. Once again, congratulations. All the work you put into preparing for the photo shoot, preparing for the showings, and having the property available for the showings has paid off. You've just received your first offer. Now, if it's a good offer, then it's going to be asking price with just a plain Jane contract. So that's going to be an acceptable offer. That's going to be a grand slam offer. That means you price the property right, you prep the property right, we did the photo shoot, marketing, and bringing the property live right together, and now we just got a winning offer. So if you get a full price offer with plain Jane contract, no weird concessions or anything like that in there, that's a no-brainer. It's time to sign and move on to the next step, which is step number 6. But right now, we're still delving in step number 5 so that you can have a stress-free selling process of selling your home, because the more knowledge you have, the more power you have. So if this offer isn't asking price, but if it is within the market value price that we discussed on step number 2, then it's still a winning offer. If we overprice the house to see what the market would do by 30 grand or 50 grand, or we overprice the land by 20 grand or 30 grand to see what the market would do, and we get a market offer, that's a winning offer, guys. You don't want to pass up a market offer because you were hoping to get 20 grand more or 30 grand more than market. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't remind you that we said this house in this neighborhood is going to sell between $315,000 and $330,000. But if you wanted to start high because of the situation you were in, let's say 350, and the house gets a 330 offer or the house gets a 320 offer, you have to take that offer. You can't get stuck on the 350 number because that was a number that you wanted to start at on your own because of your situation, not needing to sell right away, when we originally discussed a 315 to 330 value. If you get a 330 offer, you have to take that offer because that's a market offer. That buyer knows the market. That buyer's educated themselves and they're giving you a market value offer. So I gotta remind you, there's been listings where sellers have been upset that they never got an overpriced offer on their property because this is what the market says. And I just simply remind everybody what the market was saying the value was on the home. And I remind everybody that we discussed starting out high and bringing the property value back to market as we go through the process of selling the home. So if you get an offer that's a market value offer, that's still an acceptable offer, and we need to move forward and accept it. Now, in today's market, a lot of the buyers are going to be asking sellers to pay for their agents' commissions. Before the recent change with the National Association of Realtors, myself as the listing agent used to pay a portion of my commission to pay the buyers' agents to bring their buyers to the listings. Well, because of the recent lawsuit that just went on, now I can no longer subcontract buyers' agents to bring their buyers to the listing. I can no longer offer a portion of my commissions to a buyer's agent to bring their buyers to the property to sell the property. So nowadays in the contracts, you get one new form that basically says that the sellers are willing to pay the buyer's agents X amount of dollars or an X amount of percentage. So nothing has changed except for it went from me, the listing agent, my team and I paying the buyer's agent, to now the sellers are paying the buyer's agent what is negotiated during the contract. Before, I could tell them what I'm willing to pay them if they brought their buyers. Now the buyer's agents just put it in the contract, similar to commercial deals, how commercial deals are always done. So the net to seller numbers are typically always pretty much the same. And after we get through getting an offer, summarizing the offer, discussing the offer, making sure we know what our net is on the offer, doing any offer negotiations that we need to do to make sure that the net is in line and we're accepting a market value offer on the property, then we set the property pending. We don't have to worry anymore about showings. That doesn't mean we're going to go crazy and make the house all dirty and gross now, because we still have inspections, appraisals, and inspections, appraisals, and reviews. We still have those coming up on step number 6. Step number 6 is where we're going to discuss those 3 things in more detail, but we don't have to worry about having the home show ready every day when we leave for work anymore. So that's awesome. Congratulations. You guys just made it through step number 5. So we're a third away through the contract now. You've received an offer, negotiated an offer if needed, you've accepted the offer, and set the property pending. That's step number 5 on the 8 steps to a stress-free sale. Let's talk about step number 6. Congratulations on going under contract. That's a huge, huge breath of fresh air. You're not gonna have to worry about so many showings anymore, but we need to keep the house put together for the inspections of the buyer, for the appraisal of the buyer. And when the appraiser comes by, he does need in the house. He does need in the house, guys. The inspections, any follow-up inspections that the buyer might have. Now, during this time, you don't want to just sit on your hands. You don't want to just sit on your hands. Now's the time when you really want to call the movers. If you haven't already called the movers and started to receive bids on moving, now you really, really want to call the movers, get them over there, start getting bids on moving. You've already decluttered twice. Remember back in step 2 or step 2, you start decluttering everything. You've already decluttered twice. So you got a bunch of boxes already inside the garage. So the mover's gonna be able to come over and give you a bid real quick. Call at least 6 or 7 different moving companies. Call at least 6 or 7 different movie companies, get personal referrals from friends and family who've had great experiences with movie companies. Don't just call one and put all your eggs in one basket. Call 6 or 7 different movie companies, have them come over, give you bids, make sure they're insured, make sure they're bonded, make sure that they have actual employees and not just random people that they pay $100 off of Facebook to come over and move your stuff. You could literally have some very bad people at your house depending on what moving company that you use. So definitely research the company and ask that salesman, ask that sales lady that comes over to give you the estimate. Where do you get your employees? Are they people you know? Are they people that you've done background checks on as an employer? If not, where do you get your employees? You don't want someone who might be dangerous or someone who you wouldn't want around your family or children moving your house when it comes time to sell your house. That could be a very scary situation. Just look at Dateline, just look at 60 Minutes. There's plenty of horror stories about bad moving experiences. Some movers have even been known to hold people's stuff hostage and charge them an extra $1,000 to be able to release their property, okay? Research the movers. It's very important. Now, don't book a time with the movers yet. We still have to get through the TRR repairs and the buyer still has to accept the repairs, but the closing date on the contract is an approximate that you can give the mover, but let them know, hey, I need a little bit of flexibility. If you're a 1-truck mover, I need to know that up front, because if something happens and I got to push this out a week, I still need to get my stuff moved. So verify with that movie company also too, that they're not just a 1-truck movie company, or they have some flexibility in their schedule around the time of the closing date that is scheduled. Does that make sense when it comes to movers? Let's talk about the buyer's inspections. It is best, it is absolutely best if you are not there. Don't be there during the buyer's inspections, guys. Go. If you've got the big dog, try to crate the dog at the neighbor's backyard, or try to crate the dog in the neighbor's garage that day or something. Or if you've got family in town, try to crate the dog at the family in town's location, house. The buyers and their inspectors need 100% access to that house on inspection day. You can't leave the dog in the backyard. You can't leave the dog in the garage unless they're in a very good crate where they're not gonna scare the poo-poo out of the buyers if they have children, the buyer's family if they bring family over. You need them to fall in love with this house even more during the inspection period. They fell in love with it when they saw it and they wrote the offer. Now you really want them to fall in love with it. They're gonna be bringing their families, their friends over to look at the house. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, look at what I'm buying. They're gonna be so happy. And you as the seller, you gotta put yourself in the shoes of a salesman. You're still selling that product. Presentation, pricing, promotion, and placement. You've got to push that house like it's still for sale on the market. You're still selling it to them during the inspection. And the inspector, he's gonna look at everything. The inspectors are crazy. They look at everything. They get in attics, they look at wires in attics, they run cameras in the toilets, they run cameras in the drain sinks. That's their job. They look at everything. They've got infrared cameras now that they walk around and shine on the walls to see where there's no insulation. Inspectors, they inspect the poo-poo out of the houses now, guys. So the more you can make that buyer fall in love with it, the less likely whatever that home inspector says is gonna deter them from buying the house. And we're not saying cover anything up, guys. We're just saying be prepared that inspector is gonna have possibly a 50-page to 100-page report on your house of things that you didn't even know about. Nobody knows about what even builders building brand new houses are sometimes aghast. They're like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Things that come up on the inspection. It's okay, we're gonna work our way through it. If it's something too much for that buyer to handle, no worries, guys, no worries. We'll cut that buyer loose, we'll go put it back on the market, and we'll get a new buyer for your house. It's not a big deal. But anything major, anything that's electrical, anything that's foundational, plumbing, anything that's heat and air, those are items we really want to look at and really lean into helping correct for that buyer, because just like you, when you buy your house after you sell this house, any of those major items, you're gonna want it fixed too, because those are expensive items to get fixed when you're buying a house. So as a seller, just keep in mind, hey, some things that come up, electrical, foundational, roofing, heat and air, plumbing, etc., those are items that you're gonna be willing to negotiate with that buyer when you get that TRR report over. The appraiser, whenever the appraiser wants to come appraise the house, it's not a big deal. We'll let them come in, they'll appraise the house, they'll walk through, they'll take pictures of the inside. If you're in the middle of boxing, it's okay. Just don't have the house too much in disarray, but have it where it's at least a little presentable, where you'd invite your family and friends over at least when the appraiser comes. But if you're in the middle of boxing, don't think you got to get rid of all the boxes. The appraiser's just coming in there to make sure that the house looks as nice as it did online on all of our professional pictures, on all of our professional videos that we shoot on your home. Does that make sense on the appraisal? And then you'll have two other people that probably show up. A roofer will probably come over, take a look at the roof they will not need in your house. If a roofer says he needs in your house, call me immediately and say, hey, he's wanting to be in my house. Put me on the phone with him. I'll be like, no, you don't want to come in the house. What do you want to come in the house for? He might want to see inside of the attic to look to see if the roof decking is there, or if it has roof like 1x8s up there, but we can easily answer that question based off of the home inspection. So he doesn't need to come, he or she, the roofer, does not need to come in your house to look in the attic. They just need to look at the outside of the house and determine if the outside of the roof, the exterior roof, is good or not. And then you'll also have a surveyor come by. They'll be wearing a giant yellow jacket. They'll have a little GPS tool that surveys and makes sure that the corner of the property is where the corner is supposed to be, and they are supposed to be there. So don't run off the roofer. You don't have to open the door when you're talking to the roofer, and don't run off the surveyor. The surveyor's not gonna need in your house either. We need both of those people to be there to do their job so the buyer can move the property forward in title, move the property forward in the appraisal, and move the property forward in the inspection process. And don't worry, I know this is a ton of information in a short amount of time. Guys, we're gonna be in constant communication. We're gonna be talking back and forth throughout this whole process. You're gonna know what's happening. You're gonna get scheduled reminders via, Google Calendar. You also get notifications via the Showing Time app. So you're gonna know what's going on with your property. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, if you're at a point where you're like, okay, Josh kind of has an idea about what he's doing, I am ready to give him a call to start this process. Guys, our contact information is down in the description below. Reach out to us, call us. If the voicemail doesn't pick up for whatever reason, call us again, leave a voicemail, or shoot us a text. That way we can reach out to you via text too and discuss the sale of your home or your land, one of the largest transactions you'll ever be involved with. We'd love to earn your business, and we'd love to chat with you more in person about the sale of your home. Now, let's go ahead and talk about step number 7.
Step number seven. If there are any repairs after the buyer have completed their inspections, their appraisals, their title review, stuff like that, if any repairs did come up that they were not expecting in the price range and in how we set up the sale, like let's say they did a sewer scope, turns out there's like a 20-foot section of the pipe from the kitchen to the bathroom that needs replaced. It's just clogged. The person that's selling the house never ever put the oil in the little red cup with the napkin, and they always just pour it straight down the kitchen drain. Well, that pipe's going to need replaced. You don't want to have to deal with it because you might have to go through 3 plumbers or 1 plumber 3 times, never call them again, and hire 1 good plumber to fix it right the first time. You don't want that headache of cleaning out a kitchen pipe. Or let's say the roof it was within a recent hailstorm. It did have a recent hailstorm hit it hard, and it does need replaced. And the seller thought that they didn't need to call the insurance company, even though there was a hailstorm. You know, something came up, something big that they weren't expecting, or something like when the appraiser or when the home inspector crawled under the house. You know, there were a couple boards that weren't connected to the main structure, the main, what is that called? The main beam down the middle of the house. Something big, electrical, plumbing, heat and air, something. Well, they're going to turn in a TRR form asking for that to be repaired. And what you got to ask yourself as a seller, when they turn in that TRR, what you have to ask yourself as a seller is the reason I'm selling this home more valuable than the cost of that repair? That's the basic question as a seller that you got to ask yourself. Is the value, is the utility that I get from paying to fix this repair, or giving the buyer credit? You could offer the buyer $2,000 credit to repair the plumbing on their own after they buy the house. Yeah, everything's negotiable right now. Everything's negotiable. But they turn in that TRR that typically says, I still want to buy your house so long as you fix X, maybe XY, maybe XYZ. You know, they turn in that TRR form. And you have to ask yourself, is the cost of that repair low enough that I just want to do it and still sell my house and move to Florida? Still sell my house, get rid of this big house that has a second story that I never use, that I'm paying $3,000 in real estate taxes more than I want to. Is the cost of that repair less expensive than dealing with this house to try to find another buyer? Who's gonna want the same repair done? That's what you got to ask yourself when it comes to that TRR. Does that make sense? Now, if they turn in a TRR and they're like, the bathroom door doesn't latch all the way and I want you to fix it, I mean, you and I can schedule time to move that door latch. I've got the chisel. Well, actually, I've got an electric tool that like fixes that, because it's way easier for me to help a seller fix that than tell a buyer, no, we're not going to make the bathroom door shut. My team and I, we help out with repairs when they're super simple, easy, and the seller's like, oh yeah, if you can help out, please help me out. We absolutely do that. But, you know, extreme examples, new roof compared to door latching. You got to ask yourself as a seller, do I want to fix this, still sell my home, still get to Florida, still sell my home, get rid of these overly expensive real estate taxes, downsize, get closer to my favorite gym, get closer to my favorite library, etc., etc. So when it comes to TRRs and repair items, that's what you're asking yourself as a seller. If it's a cloud on title, because step number seven in the 8 steps to stress-free sell, when it comes to clouds on title, we just got to clear them. We got to clear them. Whatever the title company's attorney says needs done, we got to start working through there and getting it done. If that's hiring an attorney and getting the attorney to send some sort of credit card company, some sort of letter that says, hey, you got the wrong guy. You need to get this lien off my seller's house, off my client's house. You know, if it's something as simple as doing that, getting a cloud cleared on title that way, or if it's something that we have to go back to the last seller because their husband, who they never said they were married to, didn't sign off on the deed, and try to get them to sign off on it. That's something we've got to do. We got to go back and make that happen with the last seller. Whatever those clouds on title are, we've got to clear those clouds for the title company to give the buyer marketable title. So if it's a cloud on title, we just got to work our way through it. Those are two examples. The credit card company putting a lien on a house that's not supposed to be there, or a previous seller's husband who they never disclosed they were married about. They need to sign off on that deed that sold it to this seller, etc., etc. Things like that. The third part of step number 7, 8 steps to selling your home, is appraisal conditions. So if it's an appraisal condition that's not too absurd, then we absolutely need to fix it. If it's something like a handrail needs to be put up on the front porch, man, I haven't seen that one in a long time. Knock on wood, I don't see it again lately. But if there's a handrail that needs to be installed on the front porch, then we need to install that handrail on the front porch. That's usually 3 boards and that's usually one long 2x4 that we cut in 4 pieces. You got the 3 boards on the steps and you got the board on top. There's your handrail. It sounds simple. It's a lot simpler than it sounds. We still got to anchor those 2x4s to the steps, and we still got to secure it all so it doesn't wobble too much, and the appraiser comes back and goes, okay, yeah, there's a handrail there now. Or if here it is. Here's another good example of an appraisal condition. The windows need caulked. Yeah, the windows need caulked. So that's you going down to the hardware store, getting a caulking gun, getting a couple tubes of caulking and caulking the outside windows, and then taking your thumb and rubbing it through the caulk so it looks nice and smooth. That sometimes you have to scrape off the old caulk though, scrape off all the old caulk around the window, use your thumb, scrape it all off, get a roll of toilet papers, wipe off your thumb, wipe off the caulking off your thumb, and then you've got your caulking done around the window. So that's another example of an appraisal condition that you might have to what is it called? Rectify, complete. You might have to complete that to be able to get the loan on the house. So things like that could come up on appraisal conditions. Handrails, caulking around windows, scraping and repainting paint where there's exposed wood, etc., etc. But to know in your mind when you're going into the sell this property that you might have TRR items, you might have clouds on title, you might have some appraisal conditions that need to be cleared for you to be able, for the buyer to be able to get their loan and purchase the house. You knowing that information up front is why we discuss in detail step number 7 on this video, so that the more you know, the easier the game is. The more chess moves you know, the more people you can beat at chess. The more football plays you know, the more touchdowns you can make. The more basketball drills you practice, the more goals you can make in basketball. So knowing these steps, knowing how to overcome objections, overcome TRR items, overcome clouds on title, overcome appraisal conditions is going to set you up for success as a seller. Guys, I really appreciate you watching this video so far. If you're still with me, step number 8 is going to just set you up for the easiest closing possible. It's going to make closing day great for the buyer, and then if it's great for the buyer, it's great for you, the seller, because they sign quicker and you get your check quicker. But before we get into step number 8, if you've ever thought about a career in real estate, if you've ever thought, hey, maybe I could work with Josh and I could sell, 3-4 houses a year, or if you're a producing agent and you're like, hey, Josh is kind of a cool guy, even though he's over 40, bald, and needs to lose a couple pounds, he's a cool guy and I might want to work with him. Guys, EXP is the Amazon of real estate brokerages. It is absolutely set up for agent success. It's set up with the tools, the technology, the training that you've been looking for as a new agent, as a seasoned agent, as a team leader, as a broker owner. The company EXP takes care of all the brokerage operations for you and literally pays you to be there because of what's called revenue share. You're literally getting paid for introducing more people to the tools and system technology and training that EXP Realty has to offer, and they get to work with great agents, great brokers, and great team leaders like you at EXP Realty, building your bond, expanding your team. Guys, if you've ever thought about a career in real estate, or if you're already in real estate and you're looking at other options, absolutely reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you about how EXP Realty is obsessed with agent success. Let's talk about step number 8, the final step in selling your home.
This is the end all be all step. This is the closing. This is preparing for the final walkthrough and closing step, guys. This is every single thing we've been working up to in this entire video. This is going to make your closing mind-blowing, stress-free, relaxed. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, Josh and his team have really made this process easy compared to every single time I've ever sold my home or land. And that's the goal, guys. Like, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, the more easier it is for you to make sound decisions with more information available. The more information you have, you're gonna make a great decision. You're gonna make a great decision. Every now and then things will come up, but the more information you have, the better decision you can make. Am I right? Am I right? I mean, that's a no-brainer statement. You're absolutely right when it comes to that. So step number 8. This is very important. In Oklahoma, we're a closing, funding, and possession state. Closing, funding, and possession. That means the home needs to be vacated. That's right. You have to have everything out of the home. You have to have everything off the land that's personal property. The hay feeders, if they weren't negotiated in. The feeders, if they weren't negotiated in. The chutes. The any portable, what are they called? Round pins. Any portable round pins. Any of that stuff. You got to have it off the land. You got to have the house vacated. You got to have everything out. The day before closing is most preferable. The day before closing is most preferable. You'll stay in a hotel, you'll stay with a family, you'll stay with a friend, you'll stay somewhere. You'll sleep in the U-Haul, but have the house vacated. Have everything out of it. Have everything off the property that wasn't negotiated in the contract. Have all the personal property off the property, okay? Get that out of there. Because the night before closing, or 1 hour before closing, the next day, the buyers are going to do a final walkthrough. They're going to do a final walkthrough. If you've got everything out of that house and the final clean done, you got to have the final clean done too. If you have everything out of that house and the final clean done, guys, that buyer is going to be walking into that home falling even more in love with it. They fell in love with it back on step number 3 step number 4 when we were doing the showings. They fell in love with it when you guys came to an agreement on step number 6. Was that 6? On step number 5, they fell in love with it when you guys came to an agreement on that contract. They fell in love with it even more on step number 7 during the inspection periods. And step number 7 on the repair walkthrough. They fell in love with it each step of the way, just like you became more and more excited that you're moving each step of the way. Each step of the way, that buyer was falling in love with their house more and more and more as they were going through this process, guys. And what you as a seller do, the way you close this deal, the way you make it happen, the way you get that paycheck so easily at closing is by having the property fully vacant, the final clean done on the property, so that when that buyer comes in for their final walkthrough, they're like, I am so ready. I am so ready. And if you really want to kick it off, if you really want to make them go, oh my gosh, this was meant to be. This was the most amazing thing in the world. You leave them a little welcome basket on that kitchen countertop with the little 4 rolls of toilet paper in it, some dish soap, and in the fridge, like one of those cheese wheels. Leave a cheese wheel in the fridge with a little note. Hey, I know moving's stressful. We loved this house and we hope you love it as much as we do. Here's some toilet paper that you'll probably need, some dish soap you'll probably need, some sanitary wipes that you'll probably need, and in the fridge, if the fridge stayed. The fridge may not stay, so it's 50-50 on the fridge deal. You could leave them soda. You could leave them some of that honey water, that healthy soda, that healthy sunny water, if they didn't negotiate the fridge in. But if they negotiate the fridge in, you can leave them a vegetable tray or cheese tray or something like that. And on the note, you can be like, please enjoy this soda while you're moving, or please enjoy the refreshments in the fridge while you're moving. That is going to make that buyer go, oh my gosh, they might cry. I'm warning you. They might actually cry a little bit, like this was so meant to be. And you're happy because you're getting your estimated net to seller. You're getting your check at closing. you're setting that buyer up for success on moving in. You've completely vacated the house. You've completely done the final clean. If they're walking land, you could leave them a little basket in the, hay barn or the shop or something like that. If there's a shop or a hay barn on the land, you could leave them a little basket on there or a little note on the gate tied with a bow if they want to do the final walkthrough that way. But there are ways that you can set it up to really close that deal with that new buyer. Step number 8, vacating, final clean, and then going to closing. Because they're going to do the final walkthrough after you vacate and do the final clean. They're going to do the final walkthrough. They're going to fall in love with it. They're going to love your congratulations gift that you leave them. And then you go to closing. When we get to closing, the buyers are going to sign first. My team or I will be there, or else we already reviewed all the docs and all the docs are good, and you'll be signing or pre-signing, or you'll be there with the buyers. But if the buyers are there, you're still selling the house. You're still telling them how great the neighborhood is, how great the area is. The area's got a super Walmart. This is the best, guy to go to get the tire changed. This is the best restaurant to go to on Tuesdays because they do Taco Tuesdays and everybody loves Taco Tuesdays. And this is the best place to go to dinner on Thursday nights because they've got the best. I was trying to think of something cool that goes with Thursday, but I couldn't think of it. But cheese stick Thursday. I don't know. I love cheese sticks. I would love cheese stick Thursday, but it doesn't rhyme with any of the words in the days of the week. But tell them where to go at closing. Okay, tell them where to go at closing. If there's a favorite tree to hang a swing from, where all the kiddos would swing on the rope swing on the tree, and tell them which tree it was or which branch it was, you're going to be making them fall in love with the house even more. They'll go in, they'll sign everything, take about 10-15 minutes, and then they'll come out and you'll go in, you'll sign everything, you'll come out, you guys can do some more great talking, like, oh, they're gonna say, I loved your note. I fell in love with your house even more with your notes. I can't wait to live there. And you'll be like, I can't wait for you to live there. You're gonna be selling the house to them still at closing. They're gonna be falling in love with the house even more at closing. But you'll go in there, they'll sign, you'll sign. The title company closer will come out, hand everybody their packets after everybody signs. After everyone signs, you get the funding number, and that means that the title company can release the funds. So you get your check, you give the keys to the buyers, they get the house, and that's how you kill, you grand slam, you knock step number 8 out of the park by continuing to sell the property. And once the vacating and the final clean is done, once the final walkthrough is done, once the closing is done, this is very, very important, guys. Very, very important. And I would have mentioned this on step number 7 before too. That is when you have your check in hand, the buyers have their keys in the hand, that is when you can call the insurance company, cancel the insurance on the house. That is when you can call the utility companies, cancel the utilities on the house. That's when you can call the internet provider and cancel the internet service on the house. Do not, just like I said in step number 7, do not cancel utilities, cancel the insurance, cancel anything on the house until you have that check in hand and the buyers have the key and the title company has said everything's closed and funded. Do not stop anything until those words have said. The title company closer says, we're closed and funded, guys. Here's your packages. All right, guys, final thoughts. That's the 8 steps to selling your house in a less stressful manner. 8 steps to selling your house in a less stressful manner. What questions do you guys have? Did you put any of the questions down in the comments below, or did you come up with a list of questions that you want to email my team and I so we can take a look at it for you? Let us know. That's what we're here for. We help people over the last 18 years. I know, I don't want to say it out loud. 18 years, that's a long time. Sell their properties, sell their land, sell their homes. That's what we do. That's how we earn money. But we'd love to help you. I'm making sure I don't step in any mud right here. We'd love to help you with the sale of your property. And if you'd like to just call, get a feel for us, see if it's a good fit, absolutely do that. By calling us, you're not locking anything in. We're just doing a listing consultation. We'd love to preview your house, talk more about your house, and see if the direction of selling your home and the numbers make sense for you. And if they do, you can hire us. We'll get to work helping you sell your home or land. Thank you so much for watching today's video. be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and if you've got a spouse, a significant other, or you know someone at church or someone at work who's thinking about selling their home and they would find value from this video too, absolutely, please share it with them. Please share it with them. All right, guys, this video that's popping up right here, that video, that's another good video that you might want to check out. And then this playlist, that playlist right there, that playlist, that's another good playlist that the algorithm thinks you might want to check out. All right, guys, if you got my postcard, I'm so happy that you got a chance to watch this video. If you've just stumbled across this video because you're thinking about selling your home and you want to know how, I'm so happy to be able to chat with you about selling your home on this video. See you guys on the next one. Man, that sun is killer.